Hi, and welcome to our second day of Books for Giving, which is a series by me, Katie, one of the librarians here at the West Dallas Public Library, where I'm going to share book titles for you to give to the readers in your life. Today's edition is going to be covering books for those readers ages 5 to 11, or about kids in kindergarten through about 5th grade. Of course, if you have readers at the lower or upper end of this age range, you might want to check out yesterday's video, which was all about books for ages birth through about 5, and Thursday's video, which is going to be for teens, which is going to cover those readers about ages 12 to 18. Of course, these are just suggestions. There are so many great books out there that I couldn't possibly talk about the books that you could possibly give as gifts. These are just some books that I really enjoy and I think are great for this age range that maybe you would have missed or not heard about. I will be on Facebook Live tomorrow at 10 a.m. suggesting some great books to give. This will be geared mainly towards our adult readers, but if you have questions about giving books to kids, please ask. I'll be happy to do my best to answer. Okay, so let's get started with books to give for those readers ages 5 to about 11. So for my pick for the must-buy book, if you're going to buy one book for someone who is ages about 6 to 11, it's going to be this. It's called The Cardboard Kingdom by Chad Sell. This is a graphic novel about kids who get a cardboard box and then imagine what they do with it. It's told and each character has their own story. It's a fun book. It uses imagination. Hopefully this will be my big sell for this book. I gave it to my 8-year-old and she then came home with weird cardboard pieces in her backpack from daycare of all the things she was creating and then asked for a copy of her own. So if you're looking for a book that I think you should just buy for anyone in this age group, it's The Cardboard Kingdom by Chad Sell. It is a graphic novel. It's about kids, different kids, all kind of playing with this cardboard box in an imaginary way and each kind of telling their own story. Again, I cannot recommend this book more. It is a few years old, but I think there are still readers who haven't discovered this. So, Katie's top pick for the intermediate reader, Cardboard Kingdom by Chad Sell. I think it hits everyone in this range, and I just think it's a fun book. When it comes to the beginner reader, a lot of times we think of the easy readers, those books. And I'm going to actually do books that are a little bit higher than that for this. I'm sorry, a little bit higher reading level for that for this video. For a couple reasons. I think it's easier to give books at a higher level that the kids either have to strive to or an adult has to read to them than give them books that are too easy, unless of course they ask for it. Some of my favorite intermediate books make great read alouds, and there's a lot of reasons. One, the words are bigger, they're easier to see, the words are easier, they're easier to read, and they're fun stories. So I have two picks for this. The first is the Princess in Black series by Shannon Hale. It's about this princess who is supposedly the most perfect, prettiest, prim and proper princess, who also has a secret identity as this princess in black who fights crime and stops monsters in the kingdom. This is such a fun book because it really plays with stereotypes in a way that I think kids understand, and there's fun illustrations. Here's the goat boy. It's just a fun book. Each chapter kind of introduces the character, so if you haven't read all the books in the series, you don't have to start at book 1. And there are 8 books in the series with a new book that's either coming out this month in December or came out in November. So it's an 8-book series, so even if they've already started it or might have heard of it, there are new books coming out. So that's The Princess in Black by Shannon Hale. The other series that I love, and I believe it also has 8 books, with a new book that came out in November or December of 2020, is The Bad Guys by Aaron Blabey. Oh my gosh, these are so much fun. And I can attest that I have seen readers from about age 5 through 10 or 11 enjoy these. It's a little bit more of a graphic style, and they're fun to read out loud. They're very humorous, and it's about a wolf who starts kind of a reformed bad guys club to be good guys. So it's characters from literature and stories that usually get a bad rap, and this is their redemption story, so to speak. It's a lot of fun. So both of these books are really great for intermediate readers just learning how to read, but they have a lot of appeal for the whole age range and grade range of readers from about 6 to 11. I love finding those chapter books that kids can first read on their own. And there's so many great ones out there, but here's one that I don't think gets enough credit. It is called Dragonbreath by Ursula Vernon. It is an older series, but I think it's still in print. This is actually the third book because the first two aren't here today. And that's one thing I will say about all these books. I wasn't able to pull book one in the series because they were checked out. But Dragonbreath is about this little dragon who goes on these adventures that kind of are connected to mythology. He's a dragon and they're all amphibians kind of in the book. But what's great is, again, they kind of come in contact with these mythical creatures. So I would actually recommend this for that kid that's in 3rd or 4th grade that might not be ready for Percy Jackson books by Rick Riordan. Those are huge, those are popular, kids know about those, but Dragonbreath is kind of a good before that. Again, they're nice and easy, there's illustrations, the words are big, these are fun read alouds, again, a personal recommendation from me. So for those kids that are just starting to read chapter books on their own, highly recommend Dragonbreath by Ursula Vernon. As you get older in the age range towards those 4th and 5th graders, sometimes it can be hard because you think, oh, they're reading so much better. Should they go to the teen books, the young adult books? Or, oh, should I keep them in more of the children's books? Now I'm going to give you a little insider tip. A lot of the books that are written for grade school really go up through about 6th, 7th grade. A lot of the books for teens or young adults pretty much start in high school, with there being a few books that are more of that 7th and 8th grade interest level. And that's another thing I'll talk about really quick right now. So the big difference between those books for the upper grade school kids and the lower middle school, high school kids is interest in subject matter. It's not necessarily reading level. As I said that and gave this book a huge introduction, I'm going to talk about Jason Reynolds. He has tons of great books. He has the track series, which I believe starts with Ghost. He wrote tons of books for young adults, but we're not going to talk about those. And this one is Look Both Ways. It's about a neighborhood and on different people's walks home from school and different stories together. What is great about him is he really has a lot of books that bridge that gap. So when you have those 5th, 6th, even 7th graders, he has books with that interest and that appropriate level of subject matter, but also he's a comfort read in that if they like him at that level, he has a lot of books at the next step. Again, I picked up Look Both Ways, but he has the series that starts with Ghost. He has a couple others up here. And kids, sorry, I'm in the library, so books are upstairs and downstairs. But Jason Reynolds, again, you kind of can't go wrong with his books. I have Look Both Ways as my holiday pick, but you're going to see tons of books for those upper elementary and middle school kids. And I don't think you can go wrong with most of his books. Actually, all of his books. It's more of finding the appropriate book for the appropriate reader. Okay, my next selection towards more the older end of this group is a book series that is having a resurgence. I feel like these never went away, but if you forgot or have that older grade school reader, again, that 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, why not the Babysitter's Club? There's the new show on Netflix and this great graphic novel series that you can get for your reader. Again, they're graphic novels, the illustrations are great, and the only reason I'm really recommending it towards the older end of this group is subject matter. I mean, our kindergartners really interested in a babysitting club. You might have one that is. This is a great series. I believe there's 6 of the graphic novels out now. They have great illustrators and authors. They're all based on the original books by Anne M. Martin. So if you read them as a child or had your kids read them as a child, why not share them with the next generation? I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I have trouble with books that feel like a tie-in, but these are the source material. So get this for the fan of the TV show or that kid that's just ready to start babysitting or just someone who likes great stories about friends. Buying nonfiction for kids this age is really fun. They tend to be really into certain subjects, and there's so many great books that you can find on all of them. I'm only going to talk about a few, but one of my go-to gifts for kids in this age group are Lego idea books. There are tons of books about the history, different kinds of Legos you can collect. Here's one I pulled. This is the Lego book, and it tells about the story of Lego. It gives you examples and the history of them. There's ones that just give you suggestions on what to build with Legos, Lego challenges, so to speak. So if you're looking for nonfiction to share with this age group, Lego books, the idea books, the history books, the collectible books, you really can't go wrong. And the great thing is they really have these for all interest books. I've seen everything from collecting all the princess characters to the Ninjago series to some of the stuff for older creators on the robotics and specific sets, or even like find ideas on how to make with the, I guess, the less specific kits. So Lego books, especially the big ones like this, are a hit. Imagine giving this with a small set of Legos, and I think you will be giving a great gift that any kid in this age group would love. I'm not gonna lie, there's probably some adults that would love this gift too. So Lego books. Kids this age, it's fun to introduce to biographies. I am a huge fan of biographies and memoir. I love reading them. So when I find age-appropriate biographies for the younger set, I get really excited. And I have 2 series that I think are super popular and super great to give as gifts. The first one is probably a top pick for me. It's The Ordinary People Change the World by Brad Meltzer, and the illustrations by Christopher, Alopoulos. But it's a series. They all are I am, and then they have an insert of a famous or important person that you get to read a little bit more about. What is great about these books, these are, I'm not gonna lie, huge hits with both of my kids, who are, for purposes of this video, almost 6 and 8, and they both love these because it tells the story of the person from birth through their fame and up to and including sometimes if they've passed, and it talks about what they've gone through as if they were a small child. It is such a fun series. It gives relevant timeline information, and it's a fun way to introduce biography to young kids. The favorites in my house are actually Jim Henson and Walt Disney, which are not at the library right now because they are at my house. Sorry, I didn't bring them in from home. But they're favorites, and they make a great gift, especially, again, imagine giving this with like a tennis racket or a gift card for, or a certificate for tennis lessons. How fun would that be? Plus, it teaches a little bit of history. There are other historical figures. I just pulled this one because I thought tennis and sports is fun. The next level, if for a little bit older readers, again, I think these really span the age group, is Who Was? And I pulled Who Was Princess Diana because if you're watching The Crown, why not get your kid involved in the newest season of Prestige TV, right? But there's all sorts of historical people as well as places. The What Is. I know Miss Beth did the series this summer where she read these out loud, so you can definitely look on our YouTube channel and find them. But it's a huge series, so there's books for every interest level. And these are a little bit longer. The first one is picture book, and this is definitely more of an early chapter book. So those are 2 biography series I highly recommend. Okay, I hope you all got some great ideas of books you can buy the kids in your life. I am barely getting the tip of the iceberg here, and I should say this for every age group I do. These are just some suggestions of books that I know have worked with actually my kids, as well as books that I've given as gifts. And I think they're just great books that are fun to read either individually or aloud with a child. Again, I cannot state it enough that if you have kids at the younger end of this age group, definitely look at the video from yesterday on picture books, and if you have kids at the older end of this, you might be more interested in some of the books I talk about on Thursday when I do the one for teens. It's really about the interest level of the kids, and you can't go wrong. I tried to give books that are series, even though I wasn't showing the first book of the series, so that you could either buy them more or not necessarily even buy them more, so that there's more for the kids to read, especially if they like it. I know that's a huge thing, just making sure they have the next book. There's tons of books I didn't even talk about that are great gift ideas. Dogman is a huge one I left off. So those are books out there that you can find too. I will see you tomorrow when I do my books live presentation at 10 a.m. on Facebook. If you're watching this later, it should be saved. There should be a playlist for Books Live with Katie with all of my books to give. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the library. Bye!